This is the course site for my instruction that I've developed, the course Financial Accounting for the Non-Financial Manager. When a student logs in, this is the first page they'll see. On the left is the menu, and the information button might be the first thing they look at. In the information, I've posted a short video about the course. The students will have already had an orientation from the Executive Education Center, but they might want to watch this little video which gives them a little more information about the course. It's made in Articulate Storyline, and it talks to them about what they can expect. Here I am talking. It talks about what it will be. It talks about what they'll need. It talks about all of the details of the course and explains to them in slides how to get help. The main part of the course is under course modules, and here you see the 6 modules, 2 of which I have fully developed. The other modules are what I would call works in process, under development, under construction, so to speak. Module 1 is the introduction. Click on that and you'll see the parts as described in the user guide that they'll get. The first thing in every module is a list of the objectives for the week. The next item will be the guide for the module, and that's a downloadable document. They download that in PDF format. I've put a clip from the guide to module 1 in my paper itself. The next item will be the video lecture. As I describe the course in each module, I talk about the students or the learners completing 3 parts each week. Part 1 is the video lecture. Part 2 are the problems that they work. There's a comprehensive problem and a quiz, and I consider that part 2, and I've labeled them 2A and 2B. That's work that the students have to do. Part 3 will be a synchronous online session, mostly a question and answer session once a week. The video lecture, again, is made in Storyline. It plays right from the window in Blackboard. It opens up in a pop-up window. One of the things that's great about Articulate Storyline is that the students can't have my videos. They still remain my property. They can't download the video per se. So Storyline has that. That, of course, is a disadvantage as well, because students will often say, can't we download the video and take it with us on the road? Storyline does have an option for the mobile user, so I can post a file or a link that they can use on their iPads. There's an app, and they can see it on that sort of mobile device. The thing that I really like about Storyline is that the users have a lot of control. They have control from the menu on the left. If they've already seen the video once and they want to go back to a certain spot, suppose that the income statement was giving them trouble, they could go over here and they could see income statement on the menu, and they could go directly to the slide about the income statement, and then they could listen to me talk about the income statement. Now, another thing that I really like about Storyline is that I have the option here of notes. So if I click on notes, this is my script for every slide. So students can have the option of either reading the script if they don't want to listen, or if they're hearing impaired, or they can simply listen if their preference is to learn, if they're an audio sort of learner. One of the things that I think most research has shown is that people learn better with audio than they do by reading in general. Students can at least have those 2 options here. One of the things that I tell students is something that I learned in one of the classes that I took, and that is that they should not listen and read at the same time. There's actually some research that's been done that we talked about in one of my classes, that the channels that people use to take in information like that actually get clogged when you use both reading and listening at the same time. One of the things that I found pretty interesting about that is that we did an experiment in the class where we actually did that, and honestly, it's true. I actually remembered less and learned less from the video when I read the script and listened to someone saying it at the same time. Most people don't like you to read their slides to them anyway. One of the things that I learned in one of my courses that I've really applied in this work is not to clutter my slides. Now in this first module I have real financial statements. Steve, per your recommendation, which by the way I think was excellent, that I tie it to real world earlier instead of waiting till some module down the line to actually apply what they've learned. I think that's great advice, and so I put real financial statements early on in the first module. I do this in my class too that I teach on campus in basic accounting, so I don't know why I hadn't thought of doing that for this non-financial managers, but I appreciate that advice. I don't have my slides cluttered, except it looks kind of cluttered because there's a statement here. But in general, for example, here's reporting to the, here's the, let me give you one, who sets the guidelines for financial reporting. For example, you can see that this slide isn't overly cluttered, but there's some notes over here, and so students can read about the guidelines. And as you'll see, as the slide moves along, it will add something about the Financial Accounting Standards Board, which is the accounting profession standard setting body. This is the video. One of the things I really like about Storyline is that you can do these knowledge checks where students have to actually follow the instructions, and here, for example, if I do this, suppose that I do it wrong. I know the answers, of course. If I did it wrong and then I hit submit, it would tell me that I had at least one that was incorrect and that I might want to go back and look before going on. It has some interesting features. My favorite knowledge check is the one that let's see if I can find it, the one that I posted an example on in my document itself, and this is where you actually drag it down. One of the things about this one that's so cool is that if you put it in the wrong column, it won't go. And so I actually worked that into the feedback. That's a video for the first module. Then the students have a comprehensive problem, and in that folder there will be the problem itself. There will be any kind of documents they need to work the problem. Here it's a Whole Foods 10K. And then they'll also have a solution, and they'll be told in the user's guide that they should work through it and then check their work against a solution where there will be some feedback. In many of the modules I plan to put a walkthrough like this using Snagit or Camtasia to explain to them how to work the problem. I do that for all my problems in the courses I teach here at my college at Rollins, and my students absolutely think that's about the best thing I've ever done for them. The final part here is almost the final part is the assess your knowledge, and when you go to assess your knowledge, of course you're going to go to a quiz. Here's the quiz. When they save it and submit, they'll get feedback. The program immediately tells them what they got right or wrong, and then any feedback that I've programmed in that they can read. And finally, the real final part is the synchronous online session. And I don't have it set up, but I will be posting right here the link to WebEx for them. And again, they will have had an orientation that has taught them how to use WebEx. That is the sort of organization, and again, here's the other module that I fully developed, so all of the parts of this are here. Objectives, guide, video lecture, and comprehensive problem. Take a quick look at this video lecture. I love doing the lectures, so this takes them through the transactions. And again, the notes are here, so they can read the whole script if they want. And again, plenty of knowledge checks in these for them. They really like those. My students in my day classes really like those. That is the whole thing here. The only other part that there will be for them is a discussion board. There will always be a discussion board. I've set one up for questions about technology in the website for students who would register before the course started, and there will be a forum for every module for students to post questions, which I will answer. And students are also encouraged to email me with any questions that they have. We have this policy here sort of at Rollins that we are a high-touch place, so they'll also have my phone number. So the better I make my materials, the fewer phone calls I'll get. So that is my project. I've totally loved doing it and am anxious to finish it up and give the course a run.